Here with us right now, Desus Nice, the Kid Mero, Desus and Mero Showtime, Sunday and Thursday nights. They hop on aboard with us now. Hey guys, it's Mark Malusis and Maggie Gray. Thanks for a couple minutes this afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up?
We're good. How are you?
Desus and Mero. You know what? When the Knicks started to turn this thing around, when Emmanuel quickly started dropping 25 and he's like going to be breaking Knicks rookie records and crazy stuff like that, you're the first two people that we thought of because we had to get your take on what's going on with the Knicks in the Garden right now. How excited are you for Emmanuel quickly?
Oh, super excited. It's quote Walt Chamberlain, to quote Walt Frazier, I believe our Waterloo has turned into our Xanadu. We're so excited to have Emmanuel quickly right now.
Yeah,
well, it's great.
No, it's great to see doing things the right way. You know what I mean? Instead of just doing what they typically do and striking out, trying to get the biggest free agent, building, developing player development. You know what I mean? Conditioning. Shout out to Tibbs. Shout out to Kenny Payne.
Well, and also having a coach in Thibodeau that's got a little bit of a game plan here, and having and you mentioned building the right way, guys. I'm a longtime Knick fan. My glory days are Patrick, Oakley, Starks, Harper, Mason, Xavier, McDaniel, those Knick teams that were tough. It's a different NBA now, but I'm tired of watching this team be a rudderless ship. I think with Thibodeau and these young guys buying in, it seems like they've got a game plan night in, night out.
Absolutely. I always said, Tibbs is like a coach, college coach and an NBA coach's body, which is great because we got a lot of young guys that are fresh out. You know what I mean? And even the guys that have been, Ntilikina and Kevin Knox, even those guys that have been around for a bit have, like you said, they've been kind of in a rudderless kind of situation. They didn't have a role. Now everybody kind of has a role. Things are clicking. Quickly is super overperforming. It's expectation. So it's exciting to be a Knicks fan right now.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Thinking about that other team across the board.
Yeah, I was wondering, how are you guys, kind of processing the Nets right now? I mean, they obviously became the destination to go to. They've got a super team with Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. Are you paying attention to the Nets? Are you actively rooting for them to fail? Mero, where are you with the Nets?
No, not at all. I think right now,
from the Nets.
Yeah, I think right now it feels like for first time in a long time we have hope for being Knicks fans, and we don't have to watch any other team. It's no longer what's your team doing? Oh, your team. I hope your team loses as well because the Knicks are losing. The Knicks they're thriving. They're trying to be a good team. They're trying to get a playoff spot, and we don't really have time to worry about other teams. We actually, for the first time in a long time, can just concentrate on being Knicks fans and enjoying the fruits of our Knicks.
Totally agree. Yeah. Guys, so Maggie... Yeah. I'm sorry. So Maggie and I we had a debate, right? And Brooklyn Net fans get caught up with, I don't understand why. Just enjoy your team, right? But they get caught up of taking over New York City. And, that they're going to be, now with Harden there and Durant and Kyrie, we know how talented they are. I try to explain there's no overtaking New York City because it's a Knick town. It is completely a Knick town. Desus, can you just explain why that is, even as bad as they have been?
Listen, it's the same reason why bagels made in New York taste different than bagels taste anywhere else. It's the lifeblood of New York. It's having the energy of New York, and they want that because even if the Nets win a championship, if that championship is not going to make them all of a sudden the team of New York. New Yorkers, they're long suffering and they're tried and true to the teams they have. They love their Yankees, they love their Mets, they love their Buffalo Bills, they love their Jets. No matter if these teams have had success or not. So it doesn't take just a flash in the pan. You just win a couple of games to switch over a whole city. You have to do a lot more to win the hearts and the minds of New York City. And the Nets have a lot of work to do because they're from New Jersey.
Even if they're in Brooklyn now.
Like you said, man. The Knicks are a legacy team, man. They're one of the original NBA teams. You know what I'm saying? They've been New York's team forever. I'm a Ewing kid. You know what I mean? I have a '99 Spreewell throwback over here. You know what I mean? You can't just win a quick chip and then to take over the city. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. So it's not gonna happen. So the Knicks down.
We're talking to Desus and Mero. Of course, Desus Nice, the Kid Mero. Their season 3 of their show, Desus and Mero, premiered last night on Showtime. You can catch up new episodes on Sundays and Thursdays at 11. And, you know, man, you guys now have your fame has skyrocketed. You have one of the best shows in late night. Everyone who's A-listers has to drop by your set and come say what's up to you guys, whether it's politicians or whether it's athletes. And I'm curious, when you get to this level now where you're in the green room with the athletes, you're sitting courtside for these games when we could all go to games. Like, was there a player who you became starstruck over and that you know, were just waiting your whole life to meet? Because you guys are two guys from the Bronx who have made it big. What was it like when you were first coming up and getting to meet some of your heroes? Desus, why don't you go first then, Mero?
You know, it's a game changer because as a fan, you're just like, oh my God, you're an athlete. Oh, I can't relate to you. And now you meet them and they might possibly come on your show and you talk to them. And you talk to the NBA players as if they're just athletes that work in the NBA. And they complain to you about being NBA players. It really changes your whole mindset. Like, I don't want to name the player, but he was saying one of the reasons he didn't want to come to the Knicks is how long it takes to drive there because it's in the middle of Manhattan. And I've never thought about that in my whole entire existence. It's like it changes the way you interact with the players. And then you also have to play super cool because you're like, hey, hi, Russell Westbrook. Hey, I'm a regular guy and you're a regular guy too. And it's like, no, he's not. He's not. He's a superstar. You know it. And he might dunk on you. So be careful what you say to him.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely changed because it's like before, you know, you're rooting for an athlete. You know, they're just a member of your team or whatever it's the team you root for. But then when you meet them, CC Sabathia is a perfect example, man. Like, I remember 2009 just being like, man, like, CC, and then meeting him and knowing how cool he was, you know what I mean? And him being like, I'm a fan of you too. You know, it's like,
that's awesome.
It's like a step back.
Yeah,
the fact, take a step back, out. Like,
the fact that
like,
okay. We have an active group chat with CC Sabathia that's just going, and we just tweet about nothing. That's mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
What a flex!
You know, Desus, I'll start with you. What of all the guests you guys have had on your show? It's great, and season 3 premiered last night. Is there any guest that surprised you, good or bad? You know, when you had a chance when you and Mero had a chance to sit down and chat with them.
Probably Joe Biden, because I think at the time when we were interviewing Joe Biden, there was a lot of talk that he was you know, like he couldn't follow you in a conversation. He couldn't be coherent in a sentence. So, you know, like everyone was like, be careful when you interview him. And we interviewed him. It was a fantastic interview. You could see it on the show. And not only that, he was very personable. And there's that split second when you end a Zoom call where you might say something that you don't want the other person to hear. And right before he ended the Zoom call, he turned to one of his handler and was like, hey, I like those guys. And that was just like so sincere. And it felt like your grandfather liking you. And that was really a good moment on the show.
Yeah. No, I gotta agree, man. Joe was definitely on it. Like, it's funny because, you know, all the internet chatter was like, you know, this guy's, you know, he lost the step, you know, or whatever. But pre-interview, post-interview, like, the guy's there. He's on it. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just like, you know, the internet is not often truthful.
Right.
Shocker. Desus Mero, our guest. Just a couple more minutes with you guys, and we appreciate the time. We know you're busy today, but got to get your thoughts on the Yankees. And Moose and I were talking to Brian Cashman on Friday, talking about, you know, the moves they've made, or maybe the lack of moves that they've made. They really haven't changed over the team a whole heck of a lot this offseason. You know, Mero, let's start with you. Where's your optimism for the Yankees in 2021?
Gary Sanchez resurgence, baby. It's going to happen. The kid is going to bat over 300. He's going to have 45 dingers, and the Yankees are going to the World Series. Full stop. And the rotation is scored up. That kid from the that his buddies with Garrett Cole, and he's going to shine like a diamond. You heard it here first.
Listen, I feel like last year's team was really good. They were really good. They didn't make a couple plays they needed to do, and they ran into like a really hot. The Rays were really hot. I feel like if they continue playing the way they played last year and just step up just a little bit more, they'll get over that hurdle, and we will definitely be back in the World Series. But as a caveat, I have to say I'm a Yankee fan, so I say that every year, regardless of who the roster is. I said that when we had Sidney Ponson in the opening rotation. So, you can't really trust me.
Did it bother you that the Yankees were crying poor this offseason, that they had no money to spend, that it went so long in their negotiations with LeMahieu?
I grew up across the street from Yankee Stadium. It bothers me every time the Yankees cry poor because I know they're not poor. They got money. They got money all over the place. They need to stop acting. It's sad now. You have Mets fans. They're like they're bragging that Steve Cohen has like $13 billion. I'm like, I can't brag about other people's money, but yeah, the Yankees need to stop acting like broke boys.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny to hear the Yankees. Because, the Yankees have that reputation of, like, quote unquote, buying championships. And it's funny to see them going back and forth in negotiations with DJ for so long, but finally getting it done. So shout out to them. And how can a guy named Cashman be stingy? Your name is literally Cashman.
It's so weird.
Like, you're the
it's very disconcerting. It's very disconcerting when your favorite sports team acts the same way I act when I go in the supermarket and I buy chicken breasts and I hold up 2 chicken breasts and I pick one that's 25 cents less than the other. Like, you can't. You run a franchise. You guys got to start spending the big bucks. Come on, guys.
Desus Mero, our guest. Of course, you can watch their show on Showtime. It premiered season 3 last night. Okay, because you guys are such diehard New York sports fans, and some of our teams just haven't been all that great lately. Everyone finds themselves in that position where they're defending an athlete that they love who plays for a New York team, and even they realize, like, oh, this is a losing battle. Like, why am I defending this guy, even though I'm a fan, but I know I shouldn't be out here defending him? Mero first, is there someone who you found yourself defending and you realize, I'm going down this rabbit hole, I'm going to lose this argument, but I'm going to defend this guy till I die?
Listen, I don't remember the Jon Snow battle of the bastards in Game of Thrones when it was just him, when he pulling out that sword, army of like horses or whatever. That was me, and the fellow can play defense, guys. Trust me. Like the entire Melo's entire tenure was me on Twitter getting banned from Twitter because I was defending his honor and his ability to play defense, his defensive prowess, if you will. You know what I mean? So yeah,
that became hard some nights.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I used to say all the time. I said, listen, when this guy plays LeBron, when he's head up against LeBron, he leaves it all out on the floor. He saves his best for the best.
Oh man. In that vein, I have to make a confession. Remember there was like this weird period where Yankee fans were like proud of A-Rod after his steroid confession. I was one of those people. I remember being at Yankee Stadium. A-Rod's first return after the steroids, he got a standing ovation from Yankee fans, and I was one of those people. I remember I still have my A-Rod jersey. It had a mustard stain on it from '09, and I was clapping, and I was looking at everyone around me doing that thing you do. You tell people to stand up, and they were all looking at me like I had lost my mind. And I was like, you know what? We're riding with my Balco boy. Let's go.
Desus, I want to ask you about I want to ask you guys about the sneaker collection. I love it. What pair of sneakers are you most proud of that you own?
Ooh, there's so many. But let me see. What would if I have to throw one out real quick? I have a pair of sneakers, weirdly, from high school that I completely forgot about. It's a pair of foam posits, and my mother almost threw them out. And they're not worth money, but they're just so rare that I still own them and they haven't fallen apart. And those probably mean the most to me. They don't really have any. I can't resell them, but just the idea that I had a pair of sneakers that they were like white foam posits and I never wore them. I still have them, and I'm just like, oh wow, high school Desus knew he was getting us started. Thank you for starting the path.
Mero, what about you? Our only Tims.
Listen, I have a pair of South Beach LeBrons that remind me of the pain that I felt in 2010 when he said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And it's like I have a love-hate relationship with them because they're very beautiful sneakers, but they remind me of a very painful moment in my life.
Did you ever?
I remember that, man. I remember.
Did you guys honestly think that night he was coming to the Knicks?
I listened. I lit candles.
Bro, Do you remember, like, there were rumors online that he had dinner in Lower Manhattan the day before?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were completely all in. I was about to get a LeBron James tramp stamp. Oh, sad.
I had the custom jersey in the cart ready to hit buy. Like, that's how sure we were.
Oh, man, what could have been? Listen, guys, we're flat out of time. We know you're doing a lot of press today. We appreciate you stopping by. We're big fans of yours. Congratulations on all your success in Season 3, premiered last night. Check out Desus and Mero on Showtime Sundays and Thursdays at 11. And congrats, too, on your New York Times best-selling book, The God-Level Knowledge Darts.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
To another.
There you go. Appreciate it. Wish you guys nothing but the best and so much success, man.
They're awesome. They're great.
I've loved these guys since they were working for Complex, doing an interview with Amon Shumpert when he was with the Knicks. Now he's back with the Nets, which is funny. When those big hats were in style, like the Arby's logo. Remember when the NBA players were wearing like that, and Pharrell, and everyone was wearing the urban sombrero.
Yes.
And like they started out with doing this amazing interview with Shumpert, and by the end they were kind of like clowning the hat. It was just so funny, and that was a long, long time ago, and their star has obviously skyrocketed. So
they're great. They're great.
The
sneaker collection for Desus is just off the charts. It's just unbelievable. The sneaker room is great.